You're listening to Chillworthy,
a podcast where two best friends discuss mysteries, murders, and anything in between for your enjoyment.
So if you're ready to hear some chilling and unsettling cases, you're in the right place. Happy listening. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chillworthy with Brent and Talia.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Peachy keen.
Yeah. You were camping this weekend.
Right.
How goes it?
It goes.
You said it was chilly.
It
like
was chilly
fall.
and nice. Yes. I mean, I'm tired.
You look it. You sound it.
Yeah. But I did meet,
I just burned my tongue with my peppermint tea. Bado. Sorry, keep going. You did? Go
You
ahead.
got to be careful out there.
Yeah.
I did meet a very loyal listener.
Yeah.
While I was up there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Shall we say hello to him?
Yes, Matt from Boston.
Hello, Matt.
Yeah. So that was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And a lovely interaction had by all.
Good. Sounds delightful.
We appreciate him and everyone else listening.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
What books have you been getting into? Getting out of?
Did you read any?
No.
Okay. So I only finished since we met last. Actually, that's not true. 2 of them I finished. So I finished The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters, which I don't even think I was reading that yet when we met last.
No, but you said a little girl goes missing.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes and yes.
I read it. It was very good. Very, very sad. Like, that was sort of the least sad of everything, but there was so much, like, trauma that happens in this family throughout the book. It kind of goes back and forth between 2 families. It was interesting, though. I thought it was very good. Very well written. I gave it 4 stars. Did I say the author?
You did. I don't remember who it was, though.
Amanda Peters.
Yes.
Okay. Then I read and finished Instructions for a Heat Wave by Maggie O'Farrell. So that takes place in July in the 70s. And I didn't do a deep dive to see if this was like legit historical fiction that happened in England back in the 70s. But like this insane heat wave was going on. So the book spans 4 days, like 2 days. It highlights what happens in those 2 days. Then there's like a skip, and then it's the 3rd day, which is technically the 4th day. And interesting, a father goes missing. And you just kind of get to know the family while they're trying to figure out what happened to him. It was interesting. I gave that 4 stars.
Good.
Did I say the author of that?
I don't think so.
Maggie O'Farrell.
I think you did.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. So now I started Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. You did read that way back? I thought you did read that. All right. Well, not very far at all. It's good so far. It's not what I was expecting, but it's basically this man and woman, and they're engaged, and they're going to go on their honeymoon soon. He just lost his job. She is like doing a documentary on these 3 inmates. I forget if I said... I'm literally forgetting everything as soon as I say it. It takes place in England. Did I say that?
The heat wave one.
Oh, no. Okay, good. All right. So this one as well.
Okay.
And I like, the woman is like essentially narrating this, and right out of the gate, as soon as the book starts, she's digging a hole, to bury a body. So right out of the gate, it starts with that, but then it goes into like, okay, so like we're engaged and this is what's happening, and like this is day to day, whatever. So it's, good. Too soon kind of to make anything of it yet, kind of. But I like her tone. She's funny. And then I
Wonderful.
Right. And then I started What Kind of Paradise by Janelle Brown. That one is heavy. Like, I have had to take a break from reading that, and I'm going to have to keep going back. It's so disturbing and strange. It takes place in Montana. I forget when this is supposed to be, the 90s, late 90s, I think. And it starts with this woman, and she's like, you know, somebody knocks on her door, and it's a reporter, and they want to talk to her about her childhood, which I guess has like recently made the news. And then you find out like when the story, so that's like the prologue, and then chapter 1 starts with like her as a child, like she and her father lived out in like the wilderness in Montana, off the grid, just the two of them, and she's kind of never been told really what happened. Like, she was told her mother died in a car accident. They moved there, she was 4 years old, but like things kind of never fully added up, but she just believed her father, like trusted him, she felt safe. But now she's like 17 years old and realizing like this isn't quite making sense, and like what are we doing here? And she has like one friend in town, the bookstore owner's daughter, and they're close in age, and she saw her the other day and she's like, what are you gonna do? You're about to be 18. Like, are you just gonna stay with him forever? Like, don't you want to like live in the world and come into civilization? And you know, you talk to him and it's like not on the table. Like, of course she's gonna stay with him, and of course they're not gonna come into town and live there. And he's just coming out with some contradictions. He sounds extremely unstable.
But wait, why do you need to take a break?
It's bothering me. Like, it's like an unsettling
all right.
book. Like, it's just these chapters that are, you're like hearing about him and he's, you know, front and center. Very disturbing to me. I need little bits of it, little doses.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't hurt yourself now.
Right. And I was thinking, I don't know if for sure that I'm going to do this or not. I think I should probably like stop while I'm ahead. But I thought I could start To Kill a Mockingbird, do my annual summer read of that, because that's it's my favorite book. It's so like heartwarming to me. It's soothing. I thought I could dabble in and out with that as I'm reading this one, but it's excellent. I mean, it is an excellent book. What Kind of Paradise, the one I was just talking about with the father and the daughter. Yeah, I mean, excellent, very well written, and very easy to get through. Like, I just started it, and I think I'm already at like 25%, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, can speed right along.
Yeah.
Right. Real quick, in other news, so my mom sends me this article the other day. And I'm thinking, you know, who is this? Like, the name sounded familiar, but, it's about Morgan Geyser. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yes.
So, like, you know who she is?
I think.
I did not. I'm like, who the hell?
Wait, she was already involved in one of our cases, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes, and Stickman.
Slender Man,
I was going to say, come on, now, what's the real name? Right. So, my mom sends me this article. It, came out on August 1st that she's getting released to a group home, and the town is in like an uproar about this, and they are putting in all these safety measures to basically prepare the town for if, I guess, something similar happens again while she's out. But like a lot of people in the community are not happy about this, and I don't know, she's going to have a GPS tracker on her. They're going to know where she is at all times.
Yeah.
And she has like several conditions that she has to adhere to when she gets out. They're not disclosing the exact time or location of her move, citing safety and privacy concerns because people are so upset about this. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And that like it came across, I don't know where my mom saw it, but I thought that was cool that she even like came across it. So very nice of her to send. So
yes, I mean, I can see why people would be trepidatious at this.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like, I feel that, that case was super unsettling, and even, I can't remember what the victim's name was, but for her knowing, I don't even know if she still lives in that area.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember her name either.
Yeah. Peyton? No.
That does actually sound familiar.
I feel like it started with a P, but I'm not sure.
So, just quickly, my nice...
Oh, yeah.
thing, I
Segment.
guess. Yeah. I've seen this like all over Facebook recently, but I guess scientists are documenting, this has to do with sea life again, but they're documenting that humpback whales seem to be intervening and saving seals from orcas on a very regular basis.
I want to say Erica just sent me that article. So
I couldn't say.
Yeah, I'm almost certain she sent that to me the other day. Now that you just said that, because I was going to say this sounds very familiar to me, but I don't remember like the specifics of what it said.
Just that they
Are they getting killed by trying to help the
humpback whales?
Yeah.
No. I guess orcas when they're hunting, they make a specific sound, and humpbacks hear the sound, and then they swim over.
Wow.
To intervene, and I guess people are theorizing that it's because orcas also kill their babies, like humpback whale babies.
Vengeance.
And so now they're just starting to basically interrupt like any of their hunting patterns, and it's been cited where they've had literal seals on them, like raising them out of the water. So
wow,
gentle
vigilantes.
giants.
What is that?
Gentle giants.
Yes. Wow. Which, dare I say, do you think this is going to do something to the orca population?
Well, I think that would involve them stopping every single hunt that they're doing. The ocean's a big place. So, I mean, I don't know for sure, but...
Okay. Well, that's incredible news.
I should have asked the sea captain I met.
Oh my God, I was going to bring that up and then I didn't know if you'd want me to or not. Brent met a celebrity this weekend and
I wouldn't say that.
Well, to me it's a celebrity and I would have loved to interview this man. Go ahead, tell the chillers.
I just, at camp, he was up there with one of the huge fans. I asked him what he did and he said he was a captain. And I was like, on a yacht? He said, no, not that fancy, but on a whale watching boat. And
what a dream.
so I was certainly asking questions about the wildlife. What do you see? What don't you see?
What do you know?
Pun intended.
Right.
So
punny.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, so I didn't, talk his ear off, but I was certainly interested in things of that nature.
Right. Good work.
So, all right. Oh, what's yours? Do you have one?
I don't.
Perfect. All right. Here we go.
Well, let me think. It was a full moon yesterday.
I know, I made moon water.
You did? While you were camping?
We all did, yeah.
Everybody did?
Well, the 3 people I was camping with, yes.
Did you make like a jug? A jar?
We all had mason jars, yeah.
Mason jars. Where's yours now? Did you consume
I drank it all.
You drank it all?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have any crystals with you to like cleanse, charge, any? No.
No.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. Wow.
So, you're thankful about the moon. Wonderful.
The full moon. Well, I'm thankful, yes, of the moon in general. All days and nights. But I'm particularly grateful that we have full moons that we can witness and observe. And
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Please.
Yes.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I knew you would.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I have the case today also, everyone. It is episode 25. So this is officially, unofficially, the end of season 2.
The conclusion.
Right. We went to 25 episodes last season, and why would we change that now? And like Talia said, it's up to us. As revolutionary as that statement was, we're not just going to be in syndication. We make the determination on whether or not we're done. So, that only means a brief break, but a break nonetheless. So, this is the final case of season 2. And this case is the murder in Devil's Den, which is the Brink family tragedy. So, this starts out with Clinton David Brink, 43, and Cristen with a C, Amanda Brink. So Clinton David Brink, Cristen Amanda Brink, and she was 41. So they were a married couple, and they were pretty much embarking on this fresh chapter in their life. They were going to Northwest Arkansas.
I just read about this article earlier in the week.
Right.
This is insane. And that's the case you're doing.
I don't think it's insane because Ashley sent me this case to do.
Ashley sent it to you.
You say you didn't know that. And I'm saying I know you, Sarah. You're saying you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Right. So I'm saying, but it's not that insane if you read about it and she read about it and sent it to me.
Well, I didn't know she read about it, and I didn't know she sent it to you.
And that's what I just said.
Well, look at that.
Now that we're moved past all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very interested in this because when I read the article, I didn't keep going back to check. Like, I won't spoil it for everybody, but
no.
like I saw I saw some things, but I haven't looked again. So this is even
let's
more
take a look.
Interesting, right?
Let's
To then
it.
find out more. I'm very excited about this. This is a terrible case.
All right. So obviously we know that there was a murder that took place. So
Yeah.
3 weeks before this tragedy happened, they had just relocated to this small town named Prairie Grove, Arkansas.
Sounds adorable.
Right. That reminds me of where did they live on Little House on the Prairie, Walnut Grove?
I never knew that show well enough to know the answer to that.
Fine.
Did you like that show?
I don't know if I liked it, but it was always on in the morning. So, like, you know, I think my mom was like, she would have it on.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
Yeah.
But
What
3
was
stars.
it about? 3 stars.
Just growing up on the prairie, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You know,
All right.
having
Makes
eggs
sense.
and
Having eggs.
buying yarn.
I'm sorry?
Buying yarn,
I
I
thought
guess.
you said large.
I'm sure they were doing that
Both,
too.
Right?
So, all right. So both Clinton and Cristen were originally from California's Central Valley, and they were high school sweethearts.
Oh.
And I guess they were both very, like, you know, they were both known as being like good people, like from, you know, in their hometown communities. So Cristen, who I guess went by Trent.
Oh, that's her nickname.
Before marriage, had been a standout volleyball player at Liberty High School in Bakersfield, and later an All-American player at Cal State in San Bernardino.
Wow.
So one of her coaches said that, she said, everyone knows Trent. They know what she meant to the program. Basically saying that, like, she like left a legacy in terms of her sports ball stuff. Right, yeah. So then Clinton, he attended a neighboring high school, Foothill High. Sounds like the name of a book.
It does. And they were high school sweethearts, but didn't go to the same school. How fascinating.
Right. I mean, yeah, but I think dated in high school.
Well, no, I know what you meant. I think that's, you know, even more just fascinating.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you're fascinated. And Clinton, he's remembered as a devoted family man and a good friend. So now, this is obviously very recent, right? So this is summer 2025. Where are we? Summer 2025. So the Brinks were eager to settle into Arkansas. Clinton had experience, I guess, in the dairy industry. Like, he worked for Prairie Farms in South Dakota.
Okay.
Before, and he had applied for a job delivering milk for Highland Dairy in Fayetteville.
Okay.
So, I'm like thinking a milkman, but obviously not. You know, he's not taking it to Mrs. Henderson, but rather Giant. But anyway, right.
Yes.
So he was supposed to be starting work the Monday after the move, and this job, you know, was going to be a good move for them, and it was going to help support their 3 daughters. Now, Cristen was a licensed nurse, and she had credentials in Montana and South Dakota. So she planned to continue her nursing degree in Arkansas once they just kind of like settled down and got established. So now the couple, they had daughters, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an older teen. So, and they were very, like, devoted parents. So family and friends had described Clinton and Cristen as loving parents to their 3 precious daughters, devoted to one another, devoted to the girls, and devoted to God. They were active in their faith, and they were eager to contribute to their new community in Prairie Grove. So neighbors and the town's mayor, David Falk, later had said how excited that, like, the Brinkses seemed about this new start. And, you know, people were just kind of noting that, like, they showed up very, like, lovingly and supportive, like, in this new community, which sounds very nice.
Right.
So basically that kind of sets the scene. Like, they were hopeful, they were, you know, ready to build this new life in Arkansas, and they said that they were excited to show their children the natural beauty of the Ozarks. So.
Real quick.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
You
have watched the Ozarks. Some of them, yes.
Say not. All right. Like, how many seasons?
2?
Yeah. And why did you stop?
Just lost interest.
You lost interest?
I guess.
Yeah. I loved that show, and I would love to rewatch it.
Oh.
I thought it was
I don't think you
so
should
excellent. You don't think I should?
Stop yourself from doing it.
Right, exactly. And I would love to go to the Ozarks. I mean, it's freaking wild up there, man. And the other thing, too, like the Ozarks, I don't know how many states they spread through, but it's like Missouri is where I would like to go to experience the Ozarks. Because that's
where the show happened?
Correct. And, like, I'm just very sucked into that. All of that. That show was fantastic. Oh, my gosh, I thought it was fantastic.
All right, well, it was fine. 3 stars, fine.
Well, maybe even 2 because you didn't finish.
You're right.
Right?
Maybe 1.
Oh, my gosh, don't say that.
Anyway, back to
Yes.
the case.
Sorry.
Yes, that's
Sorry.
all right. So basically, of course, this family did not know that this would be the last state that they ever lived in.
Yeah.
So part of their plan was to explore the area, and they decided to take their 2 younger girls on a weekend hike at a popular nearby spot called Devil's Den State Park. So they were all packed up, excited to go. They set out on Saturday, July 26th, 2025, and they thought it would be a fun little hike, and it was obviously anything but that.
Yeah. So, oldest then did not accompany them. Okay.
All right, so like I said, this was a warm Saturday afternoon. The Ozark National Forest, Devil's Den State Park to be exact, which is roughly 2,500 acres of limestone cliffs, dense woods, and cascading waterfalls. So, lovely.
Yeah.
So the Brinks, they only lived about a half an hour away, and, you know, so they chose Devil's Den Trail because it was like this moderate 1.5 mile loop, and it was known for all of these caves and creeks that were around it. So they get there with their 7 and 9-year-old daughters, and they're ready to, like, take this hike. So for a while, the hike was going well. The girls were, you know, running up and down the path, just playing, exploring. Both the parents pointing out, like, talking about rock formations and just looking at these different waterfalls and blah, blah, blah.
Can I interrupt you quickly?
Yes.
You know what dawned on me when I was reading that first article, and then, like, it's hitting me now with what you're saying? You know, with the parents no longer being with us, every detail of this is strictly from the 7 and 9-year-old. I don't know if anyone else has weighed in, but, like, that's
you're right, but they also did take pictures, so, I mean, there are some other...
Like evidence,
Just say, like, that they were interested in the waterfalls, like, they had pictures
I see what
of
you're
those.
saying.
So,
yes.
but yeah, no, I mean, what you're saying is
yeah, like the account
true.
of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's so sad to me, and I don't know, like, very powerful, you know, just very
like
sad.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it said that there were some photographs later recovered that, like, people, you know, they were taking pictures of, like, the sunlight through the leaves, the family on a wooden footbridge.
All 4 of them.
Just ordinary moments of what should have been a very nice day.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we're at 2:30, and this is when the hike does take a pretty bad turn. So the family's walking. They're roughly like half a mile into the trail. And this unknown man emerges from the woods and just launches this like random, sudden, brutal attack. So investigators determined that the assailant's first target was the father, 43-year-old Clinton. So without warning, this guy just stabs Clinton, and he was giving him like some major wounds. So Cristen, she reacts immediately, and she manages to push or pull her young daughters off the path. And she's like urging them to run and hide and basically to stay safe.
Very smart. And like taking such quick action, not freezing, you know.
I know I would freeze. Well, I guess you can never actually know what you do, but I really think I'm a freezer. But who knows?
Yeah.
So in that very panic-filled moment, you know, Kristen's maternal instincts overpowered any thought of her own safety, so she gets the girls to a secure spot away from the attacker, which basically did save their lives. And then she turns back to help her husband.
Yeah.
So Cristen races towards Clinton, and she confronts this knife-wielding stranger in an effort to protect her family. But tragically, the attacker, he turns on Cristen then, as she tried to aid her husband, and the assailant stabs Cristen as well, and he also inflicted horrible injuries on her that were fatal as well. So by the time this attack had stopped, both Clinton and Cristen weren't dead, but they were mortally wounded, and they're just laying out on this trail.
Were they conscious? Like, were they able to talk to the girls? Like, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So the two girls, you know, thanks to their mother's quick action, they were unharmed, but now they're finding themselves alone in the forest, and their parents are just literally laying there dying on the ground.
Yeah.
So this killer man, he disappears as quickly as he had appeared.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy in general, that somebody just pops out of the woods, does that, and then pops back in, or vice versa, whatever.
Right.
So according to later statements, this man vanished into the trees, and he headed towards the trailhead parking area. So now the Brink children, which, you know, are very brave for 7 and 9-year-olds, they did exactly what their mom had told them, and they ran for help, which does give me the chills.
Oh, Chillworthy.
Absolutely.
It just breaks my heart.
Yes.
Like, and the trauma that these girls went through, like, seeing that happen to their father. Hopefully they weren't watching once the mom got them into hiding, but, like, hearing, who knows what they were hearing, what they were.
Yeah.
It just, I can't even begin to imagine how you recover from that.
So the girls, like I said, they ran for help. They navigate roughly half a mile of this trail on their own, and they get back towards the trail entrance looking for anybody who could help. So that's, like I said, that's just absolutely crazy. At approximately 2:40 now, 911 reaches local authorities from the Devil's Den State Park. So, and again, you know, cell service is like non-existent in that area.
Of course. So
the call was likely relayed by like a park official or a visitor who just happened to find these girls. So over emergency radio, the dispatcher's voice said, you know, be advised, this just occurred at Devil's Den. Units still en route attacked a male and a female on the Devil's Den hiking trail and then took off in a small black sports car with tape over the plates.
Oh my gosh.
Which so obviously makes me feel like, I mean, he intended to do something not good if he was covering his car. It's just, you know, yeah.
Sitting there waiting for someone, having the knife, which, I mean, I guess you could have had the knife on you for protection. I don't know what kind of knife it was, but I just, yeah, that tape over the license plate clearly was a premeditated move on his part.
So first responders rushed to the state park, but it was sadly already too late for Clinton and Cristen. Both of them were pronounced dead from multiple stab wounds by the time park rangers and medics arrived. So the officers, as gently as possible, escorted the two very traumatized young girls out of the woods. And like I had mentioned, miraculously, neither of them had actually been physically harmed at all.
Oh, it's an absolute
by the
miracle.
attacker. Yeah. So the girls were taken into protective care, and then soon after, they were given to other family members because they had to come to Arkansas. You know what I mean? Like the family,
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
So, news of the double murder spread very quickly that weekend, and it was like stunning to these park goers and residents across Arkansas, which of course. Mm-hmm. So one of the campers was quoted in saying, "It's kind of a messed up situation," which
just a bit.
I would say so. A couple of people just out there enjoying the same element we're in got disturbed the way they did. Well, yes. So I would call it more than disturbed, to be honest, but whatever.
What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare.
So park officials evacuated the hiking areas and closed all trails as an active crime scene. So while the police began searching, this is while the police were searching for the killer in the vicinity. Visitors recall seeing multiple patrol cars and officers. They were like swarming the area by that late afternoon. They were combing the park's roadways. They're stopping drivers as they left the park. Basically, it was just a major, big crime scene, which was a very different setting than a normal state park would be.
Exactly.
So, law enforcement, they wasted no time holding a press briefing that weekend to reassure the public and enlist help. So, Arkansas State Police, ASP, as they go by.
Oh, that's what I call you.
Right. So, Mike Hager, he delivered, this awful news that this couple had been hiking with their children and they had been killed in what appeared to be a heinous, completely random act of violence. Those were his words. So the investigators had no reason to believe that the assailant knew the Brink family at all, because, they did just move there.
Exactly, and who would have known
Precisely.
that they were planning that day to go, yeah.
Right. So it wasn't a domestic incident, it wasn't a robbery. It was just, by all indications, a extremely chance encounter with a killer on a hiking trail. And I guess from the reports here, this guy was fighting back tears as he was kind of reporting this to the press. So the extended family of the Brinks later affirmed that they said, Clinton and Cristen died heroes protecting their little girls, and they deserve justice, which of course they do.
Absolutely.
So even the Arkansas governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, weighed in. She called the murders senseless and horrific, and she vowed that, she said, "We do not tolerate violent crime in Arkansas. If you target innocent people, law enforcement will hunt you down and bring you to justice." Well, I think that sounds lovely.
It does.
So the stage is now set for an intensive, multi-agency manhunt, basically. So because this killer's obviously out there somewhere, he could be injured. We didn't know they didn't know,
right?
But there was they were thinking that he might have accidentally cut himself because there was a bit of a trail of blood, leading away.
Oh, okay.
And obviously neither one of them left.
Exactly.
So now getting into the investigation. So from the moment that the Brink girls reached safety, and to my knowledge, because this is such a recent case, I don't think they actually gave the names of the girls. That's why I just keep saying the girls.
Right.
So,
no, not that I saw.
So, like I said, from the moment that the girls reached safety and the alarm was sounded, there was this massive investigation. The remote location of the crime posed some immediate challenges because Devil's Den is nestled in this thick woods and very steep terrain, and like I told you, there's no cell reception.
Right.
So investigators couldn't really rely on the quick 911 calls. There were certainly no security cameras, so they had to do this sort of more rudimentary police work So first, troopers locked down the state park exits, even though he was already gone, but whatever. Witnesses at Devil's Den that day were interviewed on the spot. One key early lead came from an eyewitness account from the suspect's getaway. And like I told you, he was seen leaving in a black 4-door sedan, possibly a Mazda. And as we said, crucially, the car's license plate was taped over with duct tape. So that detail, broadcast in the initial "be on the lookout," suggested a level of planning by the killer. He had deliberately covered up his plate to avoid identification. So police immediately alerted surrounding counties and states to watch for any black car with taped plates on the highways. Now, I kind of wonder, though, like, if you were to do that and then you get away, I wonder how soon would you stop and untape your car?
So then you wouldn't be seen with having the tape.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, would you be doing that like 5 minutes away? Or would you just be... Because I feel like you should do it as soon as possible if you want to get away.
I agree.
Because even if you're not speeding, you didn't run a traffic light. But if a cop sees a duct taped license plate, like, that's going to draw way more attention.
Absolutely. Was the entire plate covered? Like, you couldn't even tell what state, or just the numbers? Just out of curiosity.
I don't have that information. I would probably say the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, at least that they had that description of the car, which was good. But so they were able to put this, like, sort of like a profile together. So they were describing this guy as an adult white male of medium build, dressed entirely in black. He had on a long-sleeve black shirt with the sleeves rolled up, dark pants, a dark baseball cap, sunglasses, and unusual fingerless gloves.
Which, in the sketch that I saw of him, that also my mind, like, it caused me to go to the girls, where they would have been the closest to him before they, went into the woods to hide. So it's like a lot of that sketch and those descriptors came from them.
Right.
Like, which I just think is so unbelievably brave.
It was also...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Even that, what he was wearing, like how you were talking about with the license plate, like, obviously he drove there premeditating all of this.
Yeah.
And with the intention of, causing harm to someone. And that whole getup sounds super suspicious. Who's dressing like that out
a vampire
in July? Right. To go for a hike.
So he carried a large black backpack. It was a backpack or a duffel bag, but that obviously stood out on a summer day hike. So this description was released by the public Sunday afternoon, July 27th. So the Arkansas police, their public appeal urged anybody who had been at Devil's Den on Saturday to check their phone photos, GoPro footage, or trail cams for images of any man matching this description. So another important thing was the police asked people to not post any such images on social media, but to send them directly to investigators. So the area where the murders happened was so remote and thick with foliage that obtaining visual evidence was extremely difficult. So, like, any snapshot from a hiker's camera could be a potential breakthrough in the case. So now tips begin flooding in almost immediately. By the middle of the week, authorities had received over 500 tips from the public.
Yikes.
Some coming from as far away as Washington State.
Wow.
I don't know what they were saying, but...
Well, maybe they had been there at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Or thought they saw someone then in Washington, like if he had fled there, or they thought that he fled there.
So among these tips, there were multiple independent eyewitness accounts that corroborated the suspect's description. In one report, a couple hiking at Devil's Den that day recalled an quote-unquote unsettling encounter just minutes before the Brinkses were attacked.
Wow.
So somebody by the name of Tony Bruschi, he is a host of another podcast called Hidden Killers. I'd never heard of it before, but go check it out, everybody.
Yeah.
He later relayed that those witnesses had told him that they saw a man dressed in black carrying a large mesh athletic bag. He was coming down the trail. They immediately found him to be, quote-unquote, odd. Which, of course, in that getup.
I mean, there are also people that you pass out on the trail that it has definitely crossed my mind before. Like, you know, the common... What do you say? Like...
The common man.
Just like manners, like behavior. What am I trying to say? What's the word?
Behavior sounds like it to me.
What's the word? Etiquette. Trail etiquette. Like, you make eye contact. You say hello at a minimum. You acknowledge the human that is walking by you. People who do not do that, something's not quite right. That immediately gets my attention. Those are the people that I also continuously look back at them after we've passed them. Like, what are they up to? What's going on here? And people, I don't know, like, you can obviously wear whatever you want out on the trail, but there are some outfits that, like, also stand out. There's just some odd behavioral cues sometimes where I am a little unsettled walking by certain people sometimes and just very curious what brought them out there that day.
Well, right. So these people were also saying that he was just giving off bad energy in general. And he had an aggressive death stare.
Called it?
Death stare when he passed by.
Well, I will say, which I'm sure you're getting to this. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Okay, then
I'm
don't.
Jumping ahead, yeah. Wait, but I want to go back to the death stare.
Now, if somebody was looking at you like that, you would still say, hello? Or what?
Even more so I would.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. Fine, great.
And the other thing, now this occurred to me, not like recently, this was farther back, but like, I want them to make eye contact with me. Like, I want them to know. You want to be seen. But I want them to know I saw them. Like, I know what your face looks like. I took you right in. You didn't get past me. I know. I know what's what.
Wow.
I have a whole thing in mind.
But wouldn't that only inspire them to make sure you don't get out either?
Maybe. I don't know. But if I live to tell about it, I'm freaking giving every last detail I can think of.
I don't doubt it for a second.
I had a professor in college, I will never forget this, and he told us in class, it is your duty to help basically like humankind if you're getting assaulted in some way, if you're getting killed, to get as much DNA evidence, like do as much as you can, even when it's hitting you, like I am not going to survive this, to help other people and for this person to be caught. So like your fingernails, get the DNA under your nails, like obviously fight to try to survive as well. But when like you kind of know that's not going to be happening, like you still have work to do basically. And
what class was this? Did you say?
One of my criminal justice classes.
Oh, okay.
But I loved that professor. I loved how like blunt he was about that, and I thought it was inspiring.
Well, shout out to him.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, death stare. You'd still say hello. You would memorize his face. You want him to know you know who he is. Got it. So the couple did notice that he was alone, and he appeared very focused, almost predatory. So they also noticed, as some other people did, that the man's car in the parking lot had this duct tape over it. Now, to me, would that raise any alarm bells to you? Like maybe I shouldn't go in here? And I'm not saying it necessarily should, but it's odd. And why would somebody be doing that?
I think it's excellent point.
Say that? Oh.
I think it's an excellent point you bring up. I hate to admit this, but I don't think I would say, we better not go in there. I'm pretty sure we'd be going in.
All right.
Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe like after hearing this story, maybe this is like a message from the universe / I'm not being funny when I say this, like Cristen and Clinton, where, you know, like when something happens and it comes across like your radar, it's like for a reason. And like, I'm not saying that one day we're going to go hiking and like we're going to see a license plate like that, but it's just like being brought to our attention as like a safety precaution. Like, don't go in.
But I think anywhere, like a bank.
I did not think of that. Good call.
I'm just saying, like,
anytime you see that.
Right. Like, there's obviously a reason somebody is covering up a license plate, and I can't think of a good one.
No, there is none.
Okay. So anyway, like I said, they saw this. So at the time, the hikers didn't know what to make of it, but when the police released the suspect's image days later, these witnesses recognized him as the same man who had glared at them on the trail.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to say without giving it away. The image of him, and I'm pretty sure what I saw was his driver's license photo. Holy moly. His eyes are about to bug out of the picture and assault you. He does not look well. His intensity from that picture, it's like he wants to frighten the person at the DMV. I mean, it's very, very jarring. Well. And back to the car parking lot situation, and great point what you said about just like, bank, grocery store, whatever, if you see that on a car. But specifically at trailheads, you see a lot of weird shit in those parking lots. Because you also, like, depending on if they're through hikers, if they're starting and intend to be gone for a while, who knows what the circumstances are of who's out on these trails. So, like, there are cars in varying conditions and weird shit in them and look rough. Granted, all of that is not the same as a freaking covered license plate. Yes, thank you. But yeah, I feel like that. My point in saying that is, I feel like that would cause me to be more dismissive almost, because you see some weird shit in these parking lots as it is. So
yeah. So now the forensic evidence from the crime scene was also like giving some clues. There was blood found at the scene that did not belong to either of the victims. Investigators believe that the killer himself had probably been wounded, likely during Clinton's like desperate fight for his life, leaving behind the suspect's DNA and blood droplets on the trail. This was a major break because if they could get a DNA profile, they might later match it to one of the suspects, and then they could just like conclusively tie him to the crime. So the detectives, which we do not hear this often, fast-tracked the blood evidence.
Goodness gracious.
To the state crime lab for analysis. So good for you, Arkansas.
People doing their
jobs.
jobs.
Good for you, Arkansas. They also collected any trace evidence from the scene, footprints, some clothing fibers. However, early on, police could not locate the knife that was used. So they weren't sure if the killer took it with him. Like, they just didn't know. By Monday, July 28th, Arkansas State Police took the unusual step of releasing 2 critical images to the public. So there was a still photo, which you saw, and there was a composite sketch of a person of interest. So the photo, provided by an anonymous trail goer, showed, which I would be anonymous too. I'll tell you that.
I'd be terrified to do this.
Showed a man from behind standing in the woods with a backpack. So it was basically like a candid shot of the suspect in the park. The accompanying sketch, drawn from eyewitness descriptions, which were also from the girls' descriptions, depicted a generic male face with sunglasses and a cap. These images didn't reveal the suspect's identity outright. The photo conveniently showed only his back, but it was like enough for people, like if it was going to jog somebody's memory or not, because maybe it would generate more leads. So the police carefully termed the unidentified man as a person of interest rather than an accused suspect, and they were emphasizing that they simply needed to identify and question him. But in truth, the investigators strongly suspected that he was their killer, but they were trying to be cautious and methodical. So once again, good for them, I have to say.
Agreed.
So the authorities were very aware of the rumor mill that was going to start, like, with all this stuff happening.
Oh, yeah.
So as the case gripped the region, social media exploded with theories. So some people were, some were posting, like, the killer, that he was already a known local vagrant, or that the Brinks had been targeted for some unknown reason. The police later vented frustration about these quote-unquote keyboard warriors whose unfounded speculation was actually hindering the investigation and caused the Brink family further pain, which Yeah, if you're going to start throwing out crazy theories that you have nothing to back it up with, I wouldn't say that's too good.
No, but I mean, it's the world we live in. Like, you can't control.
You're correct.
With social media,
correct.
like, how can you not expect that to happen? Especially, this is such like a high-profile case. And speaking of just the details of the case, I also wanted to say what I find odd about this is who he chose to attack. Like, in my head, if it's a group of people, they're less likely to be targets. If it's somebody by themselves, they're a higher target.
Right.
Or not higher target, but like, what would you say? More likely to be a target, I guess, or targeted. And when people have kids, I always think like, oh, well, they're the safest. Like, who's going to touch them? Who's going to do anything to them? Who's going, like, which in a way, you're like a weak link, I guess, because you have children. Like, it almost makes you more vulnerable, but I just wouldn't have guessed that's who he would have chosen to attack.
Yeah. Well, but, and I kind of want, I feel like if it was as random as they're saying, I mean, part of me just wonders, is it like, was he hiding in the brush and maybe he didn't even see that there were kids there yet?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I'm just saying, depending on how, like, dense the woods were and who was in front, who was, because I did say in the beginning that these girls were running up and down the trail.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like you would have heard them, though. Like,
well, I just mean if this was one of the times where they were behind their parents instead of in front of them, like, I don't know, but
yeah.
So, but the point of that was just the police were saying that this misinformation was actually hurting the case because people are just saying things that aren't true, but it's just slowing down the investigation and it's just making the family suffer more. So,
right.
But despite the noise, the investigators tried to stay as focused as they could on this hard evidence and any of the credible leads. So they processed nearly 10 different trail videos submitted by park visitors. They looked through each clip frame by frame. Those videos yielded a pivotal discovery, I guess. Multiple clips captured glimpses of the suspect's vehicle, and from various angles, the team was able to determine that the car was, in fact, a Kia Stinger.
Oh, so it was not a Mazda.
No.
I've never heard of a Kia Stinger.
Me either.
Huh.
So
Maybe
this is a sporty black Kia. It has a very distinctive shape, and it had been caught on camera by tourists who didn't even realize that they had, like, caught something so
That's
important.
I want to see what this car looks like.
Now, obviously, the correction from a Mazda to a specific Kia Stinger helped incredibly, like, with the search, because, that now they're not just looking for a random sports car, but a special type of, like, they know exactly what kind of car they're looking for.
Exactly.
So with the vehicle identified, investigators turned to, like, vehicle registration of these types of cars. So they filtered for black Kia Stingers in the region, and they cross-referenced those with any ties to the area or abnormal recent activity. So while they're doing this, tips are still coming in. So some people giving tips even provided names of individuals they thought resembled the composite sketch or had been exhibiting strange behavior. So by Wednesday, July 30th, which was only 4 days after the murders, the investigation had zeroed in on a very promising lead. Somebody by the name of Andrew James McGann. A 28-year-old man residing in Springdale, Arkansas, which is a city about 30 miles north of Devil's Den. So McGann owned a black Kia Stinger, matching the vehicle in question, and he fit the general profile of the suspect. Crucially, descriptions from the Brinks girls and the other eyewitnesses aligned with his general appearance. In fact, investigators later revealed that the children, the 7 and the 9-year-old daughters, they provided this information that was like, they said that the girls gave them this information that started them down the path, and that was that they were, like, able to make the arrest. So basically, they played a very big role.
Oh, crucial,
in pointing them to where they got at the end, basically. Because the children had noted details like the man's clothing, the bag, which were all accurate. So then with the name, a car, a residence, obviously they had a place to go. So the police moved rapidly to confirm McGann's identity as their suspect. They got a pretty quick warrant to track the Kia's license because, again, obviously they needed to move as fast as they could because they didn't want this guy to slip away because he is in the news, and I'm sure he's watching. Like,
you know, and how distraught those girls, I can't even imagine, were, but were still able to articulate, especially at their ages, information that was so solid that it could help the investigation that crucially is just insane to me.
So I guess once they actually had this guy's name on their radar, they took him into custody within the hour.
Oh, wow.
So
where did they find him? Do you know?
Put a pin in that. I do know, but we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So now we're on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. It's roughly 5 p.m. So the Arkansas State Police basically track down Andrew James McGann. They find his black Kia Stinger. Like, they track it to a weird location. The location is Lupita's Beauty Salon and Barber Shop on Huntsville Avenue in Springdale. A Berber. So
was he getting freshened up, or was he visiting somebody there?
Well, so Andrew, it turned out he had gone to a local barbershop that afternoon, maybe just for, an ordinary haircut or to get his appearance
change things
dramatically changed.
Well,
yes.
In that picture of him that I saw, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he had beautiful hair, but like curly, distinctive looking hair. So that would certainly make sense. Again, though, back with what you were asking with the license plate and like how soon would you take that tape off? He's waiting this long to chop his hair off? You know what I mean? Like, that's an interesting time to wait. But who am I?
Who are we? So, he's there doing this, but either way, he had no idea that law enforcement was minutes away from capturing him. So the agents moved in quickly. They entered the barbershop and found him mid-haircut.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say that. I hope that was nice and embarrassing for him.
Embarrassing.
What a jackass. I was really hoping you were going to say that.
Well,
mid-haircut.
I'm happy to make your day.
I hope he was humiliated.
Okay, mid-haircut. He's sitting in the chair. He's got his Berber's cape on. So it's a pretty damn surreal scene, I would say, for that barber.
Can you imagine, like, telling stories then the next week? Listen to this shit that happened to me.
Absolutely crazy.
Oh
but they place him directly under arrest for suspicion of murdering Clinton and Cristen. So outside of Lupita's salon, investigators immediately secure his Kia Stinger, which was parked out front. Photos taken by witnesses at the crime scene show crime scene tape around the shiny sedan and evidence markers on the ground. The car was later loaded into a flatbed tow truck to be impounded for forensic examination. Notably, the license plate on the Kia was covered with tape when found.
He still had it covered.
Still. Exactly as the witnesses at Devil's Den had described. That is bonkers.
He wasn't the sharpest.
They're saying here, this was a strong indication that they had the right man. Yeah, I'd say. I would say so. That's a pretty good indication. So investigators at the barber shop, though, and again, here we go. I have to say this again. Good for you, Arkansas. They were not taking chances. So they even photographed the hair clippings that had fallen around his chair in case he had gone there in... and again, in a reason to change his appearance.
I hope they collected some of the clippings.
He's not getting away with anything.
Right.
So even though, if he didn't even take that freaking license plate tape off, I doubt he gave a damn about, changing up his appearance, but whatever. So like I said, he was taken into custody within the hour. So now back at the police barracks, he was subjected to an obviously very intense interrogation. And because there was now evidence, like the taped up key, the eyewitness descriptions, the knowledge that his DNA might very well tie him to that scene. So he decided he was going to talk.
Whoa.
Oh.
I did not expect that.
So in a press briefing the next day, Mike Hager revealed that during the interview, McGann confessed to killing the couple. He said, quote, during an interview with investigators, the suspect admitted to committing the murders, which, I mean, okay.
Did he give any indication as to why?
I don't think he had any actual reason. So it said that, that he gave this admission, but he didn't. The police chief didn't elaborate on his exact words or motives. So, which again, this is so recent. Like, this probably will potentially come out later.
Good point.
But as of right now, it said that his motives remained painfully unclear when he was asked, and which is why they're still thinking this was a completely random event, like he didn't know them or anything like that. Which I feel like the randomness is one of the scariest things about it, because it's like, just again, like I said, just popping out of the woods and doing what he did. Yeah. The police also think that he had no reason, they had no reason to believe that the daughters were being targeted. It was just a monstrous act of violence with no rationale. So they were quoted in saying this is every agent's worst nightmare just because of how random. It's like no rhyme or reason, basically.
Right.
And if you remember, he was the one that was getting emotional just talking about it in the press briefing. So forensic science provided the final nail, I guess, in this case, because on Thursday, July 31st, they received the expedited lab results, which didn't get lost, everybody. They actually got back. And DNA from the blood at the crime scene matched Andrew McGann's DNA.
Ba-boom. Bye-bye.
So basically they said, we confirmed this morning that the suspect's DNA is a positive match to the DNA recovered at the crime scene. And like I said, he already had admitted doing it, so obviously that was just, what would I say? Not a justification, not an encouragement. What am I saying?
I was going to say another nail in the coffin, but that's not what you're looking for.
No,
either.
But we'll just go with that. A reinforcement of, yes, this is happening. This is true, whatever. And he did say that, he'd cut himself during the struggle. That's how the blood got on the trail.
He was very forthcoming and helpful, dare I say.
So police also got a warrant for his house, and they seized several items of interest. So they recovered items consistent with being involved in this particular crime, but they did not publicly list any of these items. So I'm assuming it was some of the clothes or the backpack.
Yeah.
I don't know, the knife maybe, who knows. The duct tape he used.
Yeah.
So multiple knives were found at the home and in the car. However, as of Thursday, it wasn't determined yet if those were murder weapon, if those were used as a murder weapon. Like I said, we're so fresh into this, so that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, I think this makes sense that the public kind of relaxed a little bit because they caught the guy, so that's good.
Exactly.
This guy's off the streets now. At a press conference, the governor praised the men and women in law enforcement, all of that stuff. And it was just, I guess, in reality, it's nice to report. It's a horrible situation, but it's nice to report that actually the police, local agencies, park rangers, everybody was working together. Nobody was losing stuff. Nobody was no, this is me. No, this is me. That's my jurisdiction. Did you take the boot? No. Did you? No, I threw it in the river. That kind of thing.
Absolutely.
None of that happened.
How refreshing.
It's very refreshing.
People doing their jobs.
Yes. So the police chief, again, just kind of reiterated to the public how much that he was in awe of the girls and their resilience. And he just said, like, all of this investigation started with these 2 little girls, and it's absolutely incredible. Those were his words. So McGann was, put in a squad car and handcuffs on Wednesday, and then taken to the police station. And so, like, now he's behind bars. So a little bit about him, like, who the hell is this guy? Mm-hmm. So he is 28 years old. He's unmarried, and he had only recently moved to Arkansas.
Wow.
Just like them.
Yeah.
He grew up elsewhere. I'm not sure. Some people were saying Texas. Others were saying Oklahoma. So somewhere between 2023 and 2025, he was kind of like a drifter, but he was in the public education system.
That's frightening.
So he was a teacher as his profession. He held an active teaching license in at least 3 states: Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Oh, my.
None of those state licenses show any official infractions or suspensions for him ever. So he was a teacher in good standing.
How nice.
But there was, when they looked a little closer, there was some patterns of short, like, breaks and concerns at some previous schools.
I bet.
So, yeah.
But we don't know the details of those.
Well,
what the specifics were.
So in August 2022, he took a job as a 4th grade teacher at Donald Elementary School in Flower Mound, Texas. And at that time, he introduced himself in a Facebook post to the school community. And he mentioned that his favorite hobby was exercise, especially running.
Okay.
So, very nice. By all accounts, he started that year as any normal teacher would. But in the spring of 2023, he was placed on administrative leave after multiple complaints about his conduct in the classroom. According to a letter the district later shared, the investigation found issues with his classroom management and professional judgment, including allegations of favoritism towards certain students. So one parent, whose student was in the school, she went on record saying that he had come across as, quote-unquote, pretty cold and, quote-unquote, disinterested in his students. Her son often came home upset about how McGann, treated, how his behavior was in the classroom. So I guess then this mother, with these concerns coming from her son, she told the principal during that school year, and then they did an inquiry, but they didn't find any evidence that he was abusive or inappropriate with the kids. But it did conclude that his overall conduct fell below expectations for a teacher. So in May 2023, he was facing a non-renewal of his contract, so he decided to resign from the Texas job.
Thankfully.
So, then that's when he went to Oklahoma. Then he taught 5th grade in Oklahoma. And it was said here that he did pass the legally required background checks. And so then he was a 5th grade teacher from 2023 to 2024. Can you imagine what these parents are thinking?
No.
I mean, because, again, how recent this is.
And within a year or two before all hell breaks loose.
So I guess partway through that academic year, he once again left his position, but this time the district did not disclose why.
But it was his choice. He was not.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we get to Arkansas. So Springdale Public Schools, one of the largest districts in northwest Arkansas, they had hired him as a teacher candidate for the upcoming 2025-2026 school year. So Jared Cleveland, who is the Springdale superintendent, later explained that McGann went through the normal hiring process and was set to begin teaching in August 2025.
Wow.
So I guess the superintendent stressed that McGann had not at any time come into contact with any Springdale students or the families. So, like, he was hired, but nothing, he didn't teach anybody. He didn't...
Well, because if it was 25 to 26, that would have been...
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he would have been starting now.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. End of August.
Yeah, so...
That's jarring.
Just a few other things, like he had no prior adult criminal history, no arrests, no convictions. His teaching licenses, like I said, didn't have any infractions on them. None of his co-workers reported any violent tendencies that he had. I mean, some people said he was like a little odd and standoffish, but,
Not a crime.
Exactly. Certainly not. So, the latest updates that we have right now, there have not been any reported diagnosed mental health issues because they were looking into that. Doesn't mean there weren't any, but they weren't diagnosed. And of course, he could have hid those struggles.
They'll probably order evaluations, though, now that he's arrested. Usually that doesn't happen right away, so I wonder if more will come out.
So, like, immediately after his arrest, he was booked into the Washington County Detention Center in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Apparently, from the jail records, he's 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, and as I said, 28 years old. So, because of the nature of the offense, the judge ordered that McGann be held without bond, which is typical in Arkansas for capital murder. The state moved very quickly to formally charge McGann, and he faces 2 counts of capital murder, one for Clinton, one for Cristen. And in Arkansas, capital murder is the most serious homicide charge. It opens the door to the possibility of a death penalty upon conviction. Basically, if Andrew McGann is found guilty, the prosecutor, is going to ask the jury to consider sentencing him to death. This case certainly has its aggravators. The state will not be waiving the death penalty, the prosecutor said, referencing the factors like multiple victims, killing in the presence of kids, like a lot of stuff.
Is this even going to go to trial, though? The fact that he admitted it? Like, did he initially plead guilty? Like, did the prelim... Like, what stage are we at for... since the arrest? Because I'm just thinking, why would he take it to trial?
So it's saying here that on August 1st, he made his first initial appearance in court, a hearing where the charges were read and a judge addressed his custody status. He did not enter a plea at that first appearance, though. The judge ordered McGann to be held without bond, like I said. A public defender would be appointed to represent him if he couldn't afford the attorney. Of course, we know that. So it says originally an arraignment was scheduled for later in August. And reports suggested that the arraignment could be about 2 weeks out. Oh, so it's coming up, August 14th. Like I said, the prosecutor acknowledged that they were going to pursue the death penalty. So the case is officially titled something like State of Arkansas versus Andrew James McGann. It's going to move through the Washington County Circuit Court, and the judge may impose a gag order or other measures down the line given the high-profile nature of the case. So that is what is coming up. And, just overall a very, very unsettling, scary, and crazy case. There is a GoFundMe that was set up
for the girls.
So, this is so it was set up by the cousin to help with funeral expenses.
Oh, okay.
But yes, and then to establish a trust for the daughters.
Yeah.
The nice thing is it did quickly surpass its goal, because donations came in from all across the country.
Yeah. What a nightmare for this family. Just the emotional toll, wrecking them, losing both parents for these kids, like at the same time in such a horribly tragic way. It's just so senseless.
The state park is now reopened, if anybody'd like to go.
Yeah. Very sad.
And the last thing I guess I want to say here is something that was very touching. The community, they did something for Clinton's, what would have been his first day on the job. So the employees at that dairy he was supposed to work at, they held a moment of silence during that morning, and they basically like stood by all of the trucks that, you know, one of the trucks he would have obviously had. They bowed their heads. Some of them saluted in memory of their would-be colleague.
How touching is that?
And then they proceeded to load up a truck full of dairy products and drove it to a local food bank.
Oh my gosh.
Donating it in Clinton's name to help families in need. So
that's incredible.
Very, very nice.
Way to go, Arkansas, in so many ways. I am extremely impressed with that state.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't hear any of this often.
No,
you really don't.
None of it. I know. You do not.
Unfortunate.
You do not. So that's the case. And yeah, you know, sad and totally
so
reckless.
Senseless. Oh yeah, so tragic, and just like I said, what an absolute nightmare. And I mean, rest in peace, Clinton and Cristen, obviously. And my heart just goes out to these girls, and like they're just the strength that they have is just mind-blowing to me, and the bravery. But it's going to be, I think, a very rough road for them.
So, I think that wraps us up.
Yeah.
So, everyone, I guess we'll see you in season 3, if you'll have us.
Which is absolutely wild.
I agree. It's wild.
3.
It's wild, baby. So, all right. Well, until season 3.
Stay safe.
And stay chill.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. You've just listened to Chillworthy. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode. While we strive to keep our discussions engaging and lighthearted, we also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the real lives and events that are at the heart of these stories.
We try to approach each topic with a sense of curiosity and respect, fully aware of the impact these events have had on the individuals and their loved ones. Our goal is to honor their memories by keeping their stories alive and shedding light on the mysteries that surround them.
If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and don't forget to join us on the next episode of Chillworthy.